Alright, hi everyone, SoulSilver17 here. Let me first, like usual. I do not own the pictures, I made the thumbnail, and this is a non-paid video. Alright, okay, so I'm downstairs, that's why you hear a fan and a dishwasher running. So I am basically taking care of the fire. And well, I'd rather have these noise happening in the background than have no, just you guys hearing me talk. Jokes aside. I have watched the, anime, and I think I can get probably 4 episodes in this What If, because the very first, after Headhunter Zonko dies, it's just, we find out about Shell's past. That is it, and her training. And then we meet a new character, and then we go to Leona, and, Tatsumi, but in this case, Izuku, just about to go on Assassination mission. So, basically, and then we'll have, one character death in that episode, but I'm changing that, and you're gonna witness something, but because of... Actually, you know what? No, nothing me explain. Let's just get into this, because it's going to take a very long time, and I'm going to try and make this a very long video, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I've been trying to get this series done, because it's only 24 episodes, so I really don't have that much to work with, and I don't see the point in, wasting time if I need to get 4 episodes in one video. So, anyways, this is What If Izuku Was Isekai, Part 3. So, after Hunter Zonko was killed, we basically have, Izuku waking up the next morning. Well, technically he was up working out half of the night, and then he just sleeps. And when he wakes up, it's basically not the same way Tatsumi would wake up. It's more like he's actually, outside. And then he's like, I have to stop sleeping outside or anywhere besides an indoor place. I don't want to get sick. Huh? Wait, who gave me this blanket? Whatever. Because he just woke up to a blanket around him. So, he basically goes back to the hideout. Wait, let me just turn on the fan real quick. Okay, there we go. I turned it down to the lowest setting. So basically, he gets back to the hideout, and Shell's there. She's like, Izuku. He's like, hey Shell, sorry, I know you're supposed to be, training me and all, but I was working out last night. Sorry. Because no, it's fine. I mean, I don't know how I can train you. The only thing I can probably train you in is how to swim in armor. He goes, huh? Alright, let's see how that goes. So, basically, that's happening. And, everything will go on, in canon, in the story. Basically, Izuku does swim in the armor, and then, she was impressed by how easily he, was able to swim in it. He goes, it was pretty hard at first, but, eventually he did it. So, yeah, basically, that's all that's happening, really. We find out Shell's past. It's basically, she wasn't good at anything, and, anytime she tries to help out a chore, she always makes a big mess out of it. All that stuff. And the only thing she was good at was killing people. So, she was an assassin to the Revolution Army, scouted her, and boom. So, yeah. Well, anyways, continuing on. Then, after that whole entire thing, would be technically the part where we basically have... I really did say, there wasn't really much, else, basically. We could say, Izuku... Actually, yeah, we're not gonna skip all the way to the afternoon. So basically, after that was done, Bulat basically appears out of nowhere. And, he basically says, Izuku, the boss wanted to see you. It's like, okay. So, what happens is that, yeah, basically what happens is this. After such time happens, basically, he gets there and they want to see if he can. I may be skipping out of order. I did watch the anime, but it was like, I just wanted to get to the part, So, actually, let me just double check to see if I'm right. Hold on, everyone. Yeah, I am. So basically, yeah, they basically, well, since Izuku already has a Imperial arm, she basically, well, since, we don't have to give him the eye that, the Imperial arm that will allow him to basically read people's minds, see through, basically if anyone has any weapons, and basically the future, and basically brainwash people. Like, Headhunter, I know I said his name already once, but Zukit? Because Zunko? Hold on. Headhunter's Zonku Imperial Arms. So, since he has one, they don't want to give him it. I mean, they don't need to give him it. But, anyways. So, basically, the difference is that he goes, when he enters, he was like, hey boss, what's up? He goes, Zuku, I had a special request to be made for you, actually. He was like, yeah, what? A new armor, sword, or it was training area. It's to help you learn your Imperial arm and your Leviathan one that's coming up pretty soon. And he was like, his eyes wide. He was like, no way. She was, I know the route where it's coming, so it should happen by nightfall tonight. He was like, let me guess, you want someone to come with me? And she does not. He goes, since, Shell is, you're basically teaching you and training you, you basically would be going with her. He's like, gotcha. How about Akami? We go use another hand. Which, Akami says, I don't mind coming. And basically the boss says, alright, fine. So, basically though, but she says, before you go, here's this. Learn everything you can from this about every Imperial arm. And so he starts, reading through the book. And, well, I mean, he just speed reads it a little bit, just like skimming it, but it's like, I mean, Zuko's able to write down notes so quickly, so I think even reading it's like, not that hard, but he only skims it. He was like, alright, I got the general information I need, but I'll read it more later on. She goes, okay. He was like, you already saw me making notes really quickly, so, he goes, I got it, yep, don't worry about it, Zuko. So, yeah, anyways, what happens is that later, well, what happens next is that she just tells him to prepare, and he says, I will. And yeah, that's all. So because Izuku doesn't have any friends and he can't bring them back to life, but they also go basically they also add in this. I'm still gonna listen. They do say that the one Imperial arm that's the most dangerous is an ice one, and that, well, we already saw the girl who uses it as death. And Izuku goes like, I know. Well, now that I know she uses it, I knew she was dangerous for what you guys said of her. But to know actually how dangerous she is? This is going to be quite interesting if I ever fight her. But first I had to get Leviathan. Wait, let me check with someone real quick. So basically he says, Cerberus, is Leviathan going to be in a certain location? He goes, what Cerberus does says, yes. I do not know where, but by the time I will sense it, he knows he'll be close enough to us to release his magic. Give me a minute, guys. Alright, I think you guys maybe hear me better, so hopefully. But anyways, So he was like, alright, we'll be able to track that then, right? He goes, yes. Also, Izuku, since you've been training, and, well, the ways that we've been doing so far, your percentage went up quite a bit. He goes, how much? Oh, from the last case, it was around, I believe, 25. So it went up about another 35%. Which Suzuki's eyes widened. He was like, that quick? He goes, of course. I mean, it doesn't take that much time for our powers to get used to you, since you are technically us. He goes, wait, what? If we infuse ourselves into you, our power will be fully awakened a lot more quicker than usual. That's why we did it. He's like, oh, yes. So, be ready for Leviathan. His may hurt a little before, well, it passes. It's like, just like with you when I latch onto you. He's like, gotcha. So, as Izuku goes, alright, I know how to track Leviathan. Which, she goes, good. So, they get ready and, well, they get the location where the route's gonna be, and they basically run off. So, after that, sort of thing, they do take a while, they do chat on the way, and Akami can see that Deku's, well, a lot more focused than ever. Well, she knew he always was focused on the mission, but it seems to be a little bit, I guess, personal somehow. So, she does ask, Izuku, why are you so serious? I mean, more than usual? I just found out from Cerberus that if Imperial Arm, basically, aka Cerberus, Leviathan, and Dragon, become a part of me, which he makes the gauntlets, which just appear on his hand. Like his whole, how can I say, how they appear is with a little bit of a glow on his arm and such, but it just looks like it's a part of it. Like there's no way to come off, which they see now. So she goes, so it's a physical manifestation of your arm, but morphed. He goes, uh-huh. So technically I am the Shadow Beast Cerberus, which then I will also become the Shadow Beast, well, the Leviathan and Dragon. But their consciousness is still a part of me, so I just have more people up in my head. Who knows? Maybe if they are a part of me, my lifespan is actually a lot more now. Sheesh. I'm gonna be alive a lot longer than most people. I'll worry about that later. Which, this whole nonchalant thing about that kind of just okay. I mean, we kill people, but that's a thing you need to maybe worry about, but So it does take a little bit. Shell and him do get close. And, well, they arrived at basically where the, so not supply, but, let's just call it the treasury group. Yeah, treasure group / archaeology, basically museum people, archaeologists, and a lot of knights from their capital. He's like, well, there seem to be a lot more than the report. Someone must know about me or something, or they're just being overly cautious. Because this is a legendary triple S class weapon. Does anyone know about the Leviathan? What it can do? Which Akami nods no. Same with Shell. And he goes, Service. Do you know? He was like, I do know, but you're about to find out anyway, so what's the point of telling you? He was like, good point. Anyways, come on. let's show them what Night Raid's made of. As he just clenches his fist, as, well, a little bit of fire comes off of it. And so, they jump forward, in which they just hear, you can just probably hear a whole bunch of, like, fighting, screaming happening, and it only lasts like 10 minutes. In which, silence afterwards. And Izuku can hear Leviathan after the entire fight. He was like, Izuku, I'm here. As he looks over to the carriage, basically, he walks over to it, and, basically there's a door. He just rips it off. It was a metal door. So he can see a box with a whole bunch of chains on it. And he goes, I'm ready. And he goes, alright, Leviathan, here we go. As he basically does take out a sword, cut off all the chains off of it, and immediately the box opens. Magical energy is being seen to become off of the gloves. As then it goes around Izuku's body, which Akami and Shell are confused until Akami does see the gloves turn to liquid, as then they jump and latch onto Izuku's body as they seep into his skin. And in this moment, Izuku's, again, his body is going to go through a little bit of a transformation like he did the first time, but very less severe. As he does hold in his screams, but he does it on the ground, digging his nails into the dirt, trying to, show them that, trying not to make them worry. But it only passes for it passes basically like 2 minutes later, in which he was, why do I feel a little bit lighter? Way more nimble. Which then Leviathan goes like, that's one of my abilities. I basically make my partner or wielder a lot more nimble, flexible, to the point where it'll be easy to see through a cell door. And even without the gloves, it's sort of a permanent thing, but my wires can cut through thread as any other wires, like your friend Lobach can with his imperial arms. But mine are a little more different. But it seems like it changed when I merged with you, became a part of you, Izuku. It's like, what do you mean? Your quirk, Black Whip, as it's called. It seems my shadow threads have become a part of it. So, when you use them, they'll be just threads, no longer Black Whip. I'm sorry about that. It's no problem. But I need to get up. They'll probably worry about me. My body's sore. He goes, I know. And, here. Wrapped around the threads around you. They'll start to heal you. He goes, huh? I can heal mostly any wounds, even revive people from the dead. It will take some time for you to get that, but I have a feeling we are going to be quite well acquainted. And besides, I'm a part of the gauntlets now. Which Izuku's eyes widen, even Cerberus is shocked. He was like, what? How are you able to combine with my gauntlets? He was like, I don't know. It just happened. So Izuku then summons out the gauntlet on one arm. Basically part of one hand. It basically just a quick pause of the story. It does make sense on on why, basically how it would just appear. It's like Venom and like I did say, Dominatrix. So if it's like Venom and basically they do talk on his head, it would make sense since Venom is a part of Eddie Brock, why the gauntlets would be too. So and then this fusion of the gauntlets and the gloves of Leviathan would change very well, basically change the look very significantly. So basically, I just want to explain that real quick. So after that, Izuku sees it. He was like, what the? It looks way more slimmer. It's not bulky. And, well, and all of a sudden, he just basically, like, flicks his wrist a little, as everyone can see, well, only Izuku can see the threads just shooting out of it into the ground. And he's like, Kami, Shell, can you... And he was like, what? He was like, can you see them? And, He was like, only you can, Izuku. Well, wrap them around one of their arms, both of them. You'll be able to see it then. In which he basically controls it with his fingers as it wraps around one thread wraps around Shell's arm, the other one wraps around Akami's arm, in which then they see the thread. He was pretty impressive, huh? Like, how? They're called, basically he was like, they're called shadow threads for a reason. Anyways, as basically kind of like, they just come off of them, and basically it's like going back to just a above ground thing, and then he was like, alright, let's see. As he just thinks of them going around his body, not like a whole bunch, just a little, as then he was like, Leviathan healing aura, as it just heals him. And he was like, that feels so much better. I feel way more less stiff. Which, they're shocked by this. And he was like, anyways, we got what we came for. So let's go. In which they are moving, away from the camp that was made. It really was just a camp. So like a treasure camp. Well, treasure. Group archaeologists. But you see, the archaeologists, I cannot say that word right no more. So basically the people that, study were basically studying it, and they were innocent, so they are not killed, if you guys are wondering. It was just a group of men, like the fighters, basically the soldiers. So they don't know who Izuku took care of them. He was the one who knocked them all out, and he moved them far away, but he still left all the papers there and such. They couldn't really research them because of the Leviathan kept on pushing him away with his magic. So he turns around towards the camp. They ask him, what is he doing? He was like, easy. As basically the gauntlet appears on his hand again. Well, his right hand, hand arm, yeah. And he goes, one for all, full cowling. 75%. As basically, the flame is a different color than a normal red flame, as they're shocked by this, and he goes, he just goes, leans in forward and throws that punch, as well, basically burns the whole entire camp, not leaving any body, just ash. It was basically in a place where there was no actual, trees and such, so there's no forest to burn down. It was like, can't leave no, bodies there. They're gonna be wondering who attacked them, so we better get out of here. He does talk about the archaeologists, people, and they all not. They're both not. So basically, they just run back. And it didn't take them that much time, but it is getting pretty, it's about to become morning soon. He's like, I have no time for this. I gotta sleep. So basically, he just uses the black whip, but it can appear as normal, but it appears normally, but when he has the gloves, it only will appear as the threads, if that makes sense. So he basically wraps them around them, and they're like, huh? In which then he basically says, this is gonna be a little bit too fast, but hold on. As when he starts, running, getting full speed, and then goes into full cowling, 25%, it's a lot faster than usual. So, so basically they're about 3 hours away. He gets there in 2 hours. No, an hour and 45 minutes. Almost 2 hours. And they're like, they're basically like, our heads. And he's like, sorry. It's just I'm tired and I want to sleep. It's fine. So he basically reports to the boss real quick, says he got them, but they merge with the gauntlets of Cerberus. And she goes, interesting. He goes, yeah, it turns out the gauntlets are actual part of my body, so to cut my arm off, well, the gauntlets off of me, you have to cut off my arms. And then you have to, well, you know, remove everything. And she was like, yeah, I know, it's gross. She goes, uh-huh. So after that, he basically says, night, I'm tired, sleeping. And, yep, that happens. So, basically, after that, we're going to skip to the afternoon. Zuko has trained. He met the new training area, and he has been training with Bulat and Akami. Basically, Bulat has been training him in physical, basically physical swordsmanship and sparring, along with Akami. But Akami has been teaching him how to be, using his quickness now to his advantage with a sword. So, it's basically their women's swords. And he's always aware of his surroundings. Basically, he says danger sense is a passive ability, so he really can't help it. But then Bulat says, no, that's a good thing. It keeps you on your toes and keeps you aware of your surroundings. He was, yeah, it helps. There's even smoke screen I have to use, which Akami's like, smoke screen? You can literally disappear from enemy sight. I don't know how I should feel about that. I think that's a cheat. It's like you're the ultimate assassin. And she has this look of, she looks like she's about to cry. So Zuko just goes over to her, pats her on the head. You're like, there. I'm sorry. And well, okay, quick night pause. Someone asked for the ship. The ship I had originally was gonna be Azatef. Then someone asked for Akami's sister. I have to look it up real quick. Her sister Kuromi. So, and then someone asked for, Azatef, Kuromi, and Akami. And you know what? I'm not gonna say which. You can find out through the storytelling. I want to keep it a little bit, out there. And someone's gonna say, oh, that just means, I'm still thinking about it. But there's a most likely chance I'll just get them all three. Well, to date. Have them date all three. But just imagine, Izuku, Akami, Kuromi, and Esdev all go back to, My Hero Academia. And he just takes on everyone. And this group of four, all by themselves, taking on All For One, and easily win. I mean, easily win. But anyways, now continuing on. So, yeah, so then we're gonna, go to that afternoon, and Leona is showing him her old, hometown before the mission. And, well, basically, Izuku just runs off with her, but they do get split up. And, well, this is where we meet somebody. A certain girl. Basically, her justice is to kill all people that are evildoers and all that. So, hold on. Seryu, basically, we meet. And her, I'm sure her arms, core. So, basically she goes, my justice senses are tingling and all that, and Zuko basically looks over, he's like, huh? She goes, that person in need. He's basically like, hi? She goes, hello there, civilian, do you need any help? He's like, no. She goes, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna need to find out where I need to go. I'm kind of lost, but I'll find my way around. See ya. As they say, she grabs onto his arm, he's like, crap. And she was like, I can help. I'm basically a capital soldier, so he's like, okay, wait, what the heck is that? And then he just looks down, he sees this white, oval, basically this thing has an oval nose, circle, black eyes, and brown ears, and she goes, "Oh, you mean my imperial arms? I name him Core," basically. And then he just tells him the story. Well, she tells him the story on how she got it. And so he's like, "Huh, well, do you mind if I pet him?" She was like, he doesn't really mind. I mean, well, like when other people pet him. He's like, "I bet he won't mind me." She's like, uh, as then, well, he basically moves his hand forward. She's thinking, "Oh no, he's going to." As Zuko just starts petting Core on the head, he's like, "Hey there, little guy." And she's shocked by this, and she was like, "You must have a heart full of justice and heroism, huh?" He was like, yeah, maybe. Or, even though it's just Imperial, well, like you said, Imperial arms, which I have no idea what they are, I guess he just likes me. I have my way with animals." And she just, well, she laughs at this, and, well, she helps Izuku get back to where he was. And, well, we then skip to that night. As basically, Leone and him are on top of a building, and she goes, "That intel that you got us, Izuku, really came in handy. We basically know some of their operations, but these are the main group that are, well, causing trouble for every young lady around here." And when she goes, "Sweet. That dude, Locale, was actually one of their suppliers. This is gonna be fun taking them down." She goes, "Right. Come, let's go." Basically, she jumps forward and she says, "Don't slow me down, will ya?" And he was like, basically, he then jumps forward too. And, well, when they both land, Izuku just runs faster than her, well, a little bit ahead, and he goes like, "Don't slow me down." And when she goes, "Fast. I like it. Let's make it a race." So basically, yeah, they just race to the location. And, well, we go to that location. Assassination mission of these drug dealers slash basically, well, bring, well, I mean, like, using these, you'll find out, but anyways. So basically, when they get to the location where these drug dealers are, they basically go through the top where it's in the attic, and then they, well, go for a little bit, but on the way, going a little bit forward, she was like, "Man, I can't believe you're able to keep up with me and beat me." He was like, "Sorry, it was just so easy. I mean, I'm a little bit faster than normal. I didn't really use that much speed. I was just jogging mostly, but I was moving so fast. I was even just doing a lighter jog. This is gonna be troublesome." Well, she goes, "Wait, what do you mean?" And then he goes, "Hold up." So basically, he lifts up the roof, a panel, basically it's the roof, and he just sees all these, basically, women, and he sees something in the middle with this black mist, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" She goes, "It's how they basically make the drug. Basically making the air and get these girls all, well, crazy for it." And he's like, "Damn, these sick bastards." And, well, then the two men come in, and basically one was like, "Hey, keep it going, ladies. Keep doing what you need to do, and I'll keep supplying with what you want." And then, well, one of them is laughing. Well, they're all laughing, but one of them is laughing now, and he was like, "Hey, one of the guys says, 'Hey, what should we do with this one?' And he was like, throw her away. She basically is useless to us because her mind went." And she was like, "I want more." As then one of the guys hits her. As Leone, gets pissed at this, as basically then Izuku closed down the panel. When Leone looks at him, she just sees. I mean, I didn't want to say, but Izuku basically just looks like he was about to jump down there and cut them down himself. But she can see his intention to kill them is to the max. So hold on, real quick. Gotta put an arrow log in the fire. Alright. So basically she goes, "Are you?" He was like, "Let's kill those bastards. Every last one of them. Help these girls out." And basically she grins and she goes, right, as soon, when she basically punches her hand. And so the guys are just talking, and then all of a sudden Izuku and Leona come through the roof. As basically they land and basically as unison saying, "We come here to kill you, filthy bastards!" As Izuku has his sword out, as well, the guy that's the leader there says to kill them. As well, in a brief moment, Izuku is already coming through at least 2 guards already. Leona, basically punches one of them and starts beating some down, which they're just shocked by Izuku's speed alone, including Leona, as well. One of the guys in that said a faster. Well, basically he says what he says in canon a lot earlier. He was like, "I don't want to," as then he goes, "You don't want to die. You have to move a lot quicker than that." As then Izuku just cuts him down. As Leona then punches the dude in the face and grabs him, and he goes like, "Please don't kill me. I'll give you everything, anything you want, drugs, money. Just let me go." And hell, she goes, "I don't." Basically, she says in canon, "I don't want your money. I don't want your drugs. I just want your life." He was like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And well, basically, he did call the girl. She did. He did call the girls basically a bunch of beef, but and then basically she just says like the same thing she said in canon, which is that. And Izuku's like, "You could have said something different." And which then afterwards they leave, to like help out the girls, and well, basically killed everyone else there, like all the guards and such. So after that though, on the way passing through the same area as Leone and Tatsumi did, he goes, basically they had the same conversation. He was like, "Man, all those girls are gonna really have a rough time getting back to normal, huh?" She goes, "Mm-hmm. They are, Izuku. And I know a doctor that can help them. They always were always ready to help out a pretty woman when at need real quick. But they're retired." He was like, "That's good to hear. I'm glad they'll be able to get back to normal. Everyone deserves a second chance at life." And besides, those guys used them. It was a lot worse than the client said, wasn't it? Which she does not. But from the information we gathered from the intel that you took from the cow, we already understood what was there. But the gravity of it was way more. Yeah. And well, and basically he just smiles and goes like, "But," and he looks at her. He's like, "But anyways, at least it'll be fun. Well, if you ever see them again, maybe they'll thank us." And he has a genuine smile. And then, well, she does exactly the same thing she does to Tatsumi to Izuku, as he basically says, "Well, I just claim you. Now when you get older, I can, basically, you'll be mine." And he's like, instead of, he does back away from her, going like, "What the hell was that?" Basically, and then she said that, and he goes like, "I never agreed to it. But, I'll be going back to my world. I don't really know if I'll be able to bring anyone back." Which she does look at him, and she goes, yeah, I forgot. Sorry." He's like, "No, look, there should be a guy out there for you. And besides, if there is one, you'll be one lucky dude. A girl like you, with your personality and your charm, any guy will be lucky." Which she's, happy to hear that. So, she goes, "Anyways, what about you? Got anyone in mind?" He goes like, "I don't know. I've been mostly focusing on my task here. I haven't really looking for romance. But, besides, I'm also worried what I just said. I don't know if I'll have to go back to my world no matter what. So I don't want to break the person's heart if I can't bring them with me." which Leviathan and Cerberus are hearing this, and they don't know it's possible. Which they're talking to each other, like, Cerberus, Helium, is it possible? Which Cerberus then says, Liam, I don't know. But if it is, I hope we can. His personality's changed. Besides, that Ochako Araka girl, he doesn't have no feelings towards her no more. So, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to find love here. But anyways, we go back to his mindscape. He was like, which he does look at Leona. He was like, hey, I don't know why, but I met a guard, basically a soldier with Imperial arm. Not a high class one, just a normal grunt. Which he was like, huh? Wait, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. It was Core, at least he describes it as her eyes are shot. And he's like, we have to go look for them, for the others. He was like, alright, I'll look for, Shell and mine. You go find Kami, Bulat, and, Lobak. Which she nods. So basically, they split off. And so after we would go to mine and Shell. Everything's going like in canon. Especially how Sirene, yeah, I think I said it right. Okay, no, I did not say it right. Seryu basically says about how her father was killed by bandits, and basically her master was killed by people like you. Like, she'll basically bring you to justice and kill you, basically kill them. Yeah, and so the fight would go like in canon. In which, what happens? So right when, Shell was about to kill Seryu, basically the gunshot from her arm happens, and Izuku hears this. He was like, shit. He just runs off in that direction, but he uses 10%. No, he uses 25% and moving, as quickly as he's possible towards the, location. As well. What happens next is, when he gets onto top of a building, he basically sees just Shell getting shot, and then Core about to eat her. But he also sees basically Seryu's face, and he can just, for some reason, somehow, he basically just sees her face and can already tell what she's saying. Justice always will prevail, basically. And then and let's just say, time is going slow for him. His perception time is moving slow. As basically, he can hear Leviathan and, Cerberus yell, saying, summon it! Basically, he's like, summon what? Cerberus armor! In which he thinks, Leviathan says, don't question it, just do it. You need to hide your face from her. Which he does, saying, 75%. Full calling. One for all. As he basically jumps forward. And, he says, Cerberus armor! Leviathan! As well, all of a sudden, they just see a bright light. Core stopped what he was doing, as everyone just sees this gate opening, chains coming out of it, covering somebody, as then when they are ripped off, they just see an actual armor, but looks like it has 3 heads, and from the middle of the head just looks like an actual dog. Basically, like the ears and the helmet has eyes, basically. Well, basically the eyes are basically, but the helmet has eyes where basically Izuku will see out of and such. And well, because of it, he's moving so fast. When he basically ripped them off, he also punches Core, sent him flying a little bit towards Seryu, and she's like, "What the hell?" And he basically looks at mine. He goes like, "Are you all right?" What she sees is the whole entire armor. It's basically it's big. It looks big, but somehow to Izuku's size though it fits. So hold on. Alright, so basically like I was saying, so and also she starts seeing this something coming off around the armor, the neck part, as it just looks like a black scarf, but tattered and ripped. And basically it also looks like fire's coming off of him since he's around 75% of full cowling and using one for all, as also it looks like water's coming off of his feet. And if he wasn't having the armor on, it would scales. It looks like markings, not scales. Markings will be on his body, and which Seryu is like, "What the? Who are?" As all of a sudden, he blitzes, palm strikes her, sending her flying into a tree. As then he just says, "Leviathan Zone C." Basically, it's Leviathan Zone C. Basically, an ocean. Actually, no. He goes Leviathan Zone Ocean. As then all of a sudden, it just looks like there's ripples in the ground. Something's moving. He just moves his hand. Izuku just moves his hand a little as the threads coming out of it basically go into shell, and then he goes. Basically, he goes, Leviathan heal. Which, in this case, there's no aura. It basically looks like it's just stitching up the wound all the way throughout her body, basically, and then just healed it, which even with mine, so her arms healed, and any part that was broken, as then he goes, Leviathan, take them away, get them the hell out of here, take them back to Night Raid. As which mine's like, "What? You can't take her!" As he looks back, he just puts the thumbs up, and he just says, "I got this, don't worry about me." As all of a sudden threads are basically pulling them inside into basically into the shadow realm. As what they see is just actual blue eyes glowing. Shell is technically, unconscious, but mine sees it, and then they basically just see, threads are attached to them, as it was coming from the teeth, as it just swimming away. Izuku still has it. It's just this. Basically, when he does this, with the gates of hell, which is one of the trump cards for the Cerberus gauntlets. Basically, there will be the beast in the actual shadow beast, the actual not carnage. Cerberus in there. So yeah. So basically, that's how they're getting away. They do get to, and it's swimming really fast because it has to get back to Zuku. So it gets in the Shadow Raid. Not Shadow Raid, Night Raid, and then it gets back, and he's basically, when he gets back, the head of it just peers out through the water of the concrete. Says, "They are safe." He goes, "Good." And where she goes "I don't know who you are, but you got in the way of justice, and for that you shall pay with your life, Night Raid." And he goes, "Justice? Really? Is this your justice? Killing people?" She was like, "You have no right to talk." And he was like, "I don't. But the way your justice is, as his eyes are glowing orange, as he sees what he's done, is no true justice. You are a plague of evil. She was like, silence! You don't know what's evil! What is. Basically, he legit just grabs his sword and unshapes it. He was like, I know what is evil here because I was brought here to kill it, to end it from the source that would drive this land into its own destruction. So I can see what is evil while you cannot, because you are blinded by your justice, your so-called justice to avenge your father and your precious Captain Ogre. And you are pathetic. With sheer eyes wide, he was like, don't you ever spout that out. She basically Core's in berserker mode. So she says, Core, kill him, basically. As when it goes close to him, he basically just looks at it and just says, I'm sorry. In which he does cut off both its arms and then kicks it to the side. In which that shocks her, and he's just moving forward. And she basically was like, do you have any idea what he did, Captain Ogre? Your captain, your mentor, right? Basically, he had innocent people charged just to save a scumbag of an oil merchant. And you basically saying what he did can we justify as good? It is corruption in this world. So, I only got one thing to say to you. As then he basically gives her a somewhat speech of what Madara would do. Basically, he just says from his experience, wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. For every time in this world the strong will live, the weak will always be suppressed, to be treated like nothing more than dirt that can be easily thrown away. And any time the weak try to rise up, the strong will devour them before they even could get a chance. And through this, hate is born. Hate will come into pain and sadness. And this will give a flame to rebel against the current strong, to achieve a strength that no one could achieve. And when the strong die to the weak, the next people that were the weak will kill the ones before them. So, tell me, is your justice righteous? As she goes, no, you. He basically mentally brought her justice. Basically, concept what she's doing is all justice, and then he goes, what I do is not what I would like to do, but is what I am needed. I am needed to kill, for it is what I was brought here to do. Basically, to kill this evil that would bring this land into destruction. As Core comes after him again after basically Rogoro his arms, and then he just stops it, pulls him, actually backhand Core, send him flying into the clock tower. And then he's just been looking at her always when he did this, as she is shot, and he goes, and you are been nothing more than a pawn in this so-called world, in your government. If I were you, I would truly look at the people, truly look at them, and find out why they are suffering, at least. Maybe even wonder what people think of your precious Captain Ogre. Basically, there's like a whole bunch of guards that surround him, which they're just seeing him. As basically, Core gets back up, as like I forgot to even mention, the sword changed completely. Idrul changed, and he just basically looking at Core, and he goes, "Let's see how you like this." As all of a sudden, everyone just sees the red wrap around Core, as Seryu. Yeah, Seryu is wondering, wait, what are you? As basically, he just lifts up his hand, and arm, as Core is being dragged down into the water, in which a few minutes pass. No one knows what happened. She thinks Core's dead, but then all of a sudden, he gets thrown out of basically the ground, which became water into the shadow realm. The Leviathan, controlled, and then half of his body's missing. Like, basically. And he basically, all of a sudden, Zuko feels weird. And basically, Leviathan says, "Oh, yes, I forgot to mention, anytime I eat an Imperial Arms, it can easily be repaired by it being fixed. The user gains the abilities for quite a bit." He's like, "How long?" "An hour, but we should be going. Your emotions are dying down. The armor and my power that you're using, basically the water around your legs, shouldn't have been activated, but it was a dire need. We made an exception this time, Izuku. You'll have to train more to handle this. This put a strain in your body, and we're running out of time." And Izuku basically says, "Alright." So basically he looks back at, her, Seryu. Seryu. Wait, actually, no. Hold on. Seryu. My dad's coming out of his room. Hold on. Alright, I'm in my room now. My dad told me to stop burning. So anyways, my fan's on. It's hot, in my house. So I have my door open. My room's up. Anyways, so on. Anyways, yeah, I had to stop saying anyways, so on. Let's continue. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Alright. So, like I said, he looked back at her, tell her to do that. And he goes, "Now, remember how I look. For you will never know my true face." As all of a sudden, the shadows start to go towards Izuku, as he, starts sinking to the ground, as everyone's shocked by this, and they cover him, and it looks like they just push him down. And, well, for some reason, the ground looks like there was like a little splash of water, when they did that, so there's like ripples. They go on for a few minutes and then stop. Every one of those soldiers that were, called for reinforcements are like, "What the hell?" Or "Who the hell was that?" And the girl, Seryu, is like, wondering, like, what he was saying. Is it true? What's going on? Because if you guys, are wondering, like, how she's like having technically a mental breakdown, is because in the anime she is so devoted to her justice. It's just creepy that she thinks what she's doing is, like, it is right, but it's just she just enjoyed it way too much. So I'm sorry. I know I should have killed her off, but I know she's gonna be needing the later, for the group. So I technically think there's a redeem about her, but I don't like her, so I may as well kill her later. But yeah, so after that, a few minutes pass. Everyone is asking mine questions. Basically, mine saying, "No, we have to go back to the capital. Izuku's in danger. Whatever that Imperial Arms is, it's organic. There's a core that..." And basically, this went on for how many minutes. The boss says Izuku's fine. He can handle himself. And basically, though, she is clenching her She had her arms crossed, but she's clenching her, well, her long sleeve, her suit basically, with her robotic arm, as, Brutal, hold on. As Bulan says, yes, I agree with her. Izuku's gonna be fine. He's a lot stronger than us. I mean, the dude can actually take Akami's sword and he won't die from it. And then, well, all of a sudden, Izuku appears out of the ground like it was water. He goes like, sorry it took me so long. Had to try to mess with that girl's mind a little bit. The way how she looked at, Shell when she shot her, it was just... it was like I was looking at a monster. She's just too into the justice thing. That was way too much. It was like it was a monstrous thing just to be happy that you're supposed to kill someone's life. So, everyone's shocked by it. They all go over to him and like hug him. Mine are thanking him for saving Shell and her, blah blah blah. And he goes, "It's no problem. You should really thank Leviathan. This wouldn't have been anything without him. It's a good thing I got him as soon as I could." Which basically the boss says, "Right, Zuko, you had to train with Leviathan and get your bond with it, a lot more." He goes, "Right." And then he goes, so he basically says to Leviathan, "Thank you. You helped me save a friend." He goes, "It's no problem, Izuku. My healing doesn't apply to wounds or bringing people back from death. Back from death. It applies to even poisons and sickness, diseases that could never have been cured. That's how powerful my healing is." He goes, "I'll keep that in mind. Thank you." He does again. "You are welcome." So, after that though, Zuko goes, "Anyways, I have to take a nap." And he does fall down, and but Akami did catch him, which surprised everyone, and she thinks, "Izuku, don't," as she just sees he's asleep, and he's like, basically just sleeping basically, and she sighs in relief. So, well, after that, the whole entire speech about how the Imperial, about the capital will bring more people with Imperial arms and such, so they have to be get stronger, and even how they can then grab those Imperial arms by any means, basically. So, yeah, that happened. In which, but we do cut to when Izuku's waking up. He was like, my head. Where am I? My room. I'm back. Oh yeah, I passed out after I came back. That must have been the strain on me. Better check to see if anyone's awake and apologize for worrying them. When he looks over to his, left side, he just sees Akami, leaning on his bed, sleeping with her, her head, on her arms. And he goes, "Well, Akami, seems there's a side to you I never thought I would see." And then he basically, lightly, shakes her a little. He goes like, "Akami, wake up." She goes, "Izuku, as in basically, she goes, "Izuku!" She basically, hugs him, and he goes like, "Akami, calm down, I'm fine, nothing." And she does start, crying, in which he says, "Wait, this is the first time I ever seen Akami cry." And he goes, "Hey, what's wrong?" She goes, "I'm just so glad you're alright. Thank you for saving Shell," basically. And then she goes on about how this job is hard, and that, basically she can't always show her emotions. She has to basically have it shut off. So, and then he just realized, I just realized how hard this job can be. Mentally. I already lost so many people I cared about, and even I'm not used to it. So what he does is he basically, uses his left hand. Basically uses his left hand basically to put it on her head and pat her. Like, come on, no one sees you like this. Who knows what they'll do? They'll probably tease you. And she's promised me something to Zuko. He goes, huh? Promise me, please. And then he sighs because he knows what she wants him to say. He goes, I promise, I will always come back. I won't die, not until I die of old age. I promise you, in this world and in mine. And she lets go of him, and she smiles, and she goes, thank you. And he does chuckle. He goes, come on, wipe away your tears. And when she does, outside his door though, Leona is hearing this, and she just thinks to herself, looks like a kami likes you. Izuku? I wonder, who would you choose? So basically, she basically leaves. And yeah, we do go to where Esdef arrives back to the capital. So she got back, and then she does exactly the same thing as she does in Canada and asks, to basically find someone to be in love with. And everything from there will basically go to canon besides Shell is alive. So, she thanks Izuku a lot for saving her. He says it was no problem. He doesn't want to see his friend die. He already had enough of that already. Enough people he cared about died. From, basically the war. So, yeah. They all understand. And so, we do cut to, basically, we do cut to when the entire night, basically, the boss calls for everyone. Sorry, just, have some stuck in my throat. Hold on. Alright. So basically, she goes like, there's been, false flyers of us saying we have been killing these people. Basically, officials of officials of high class of the government, basically, council that goes against the minister. And, there's been enough attacks of this assassinations that the people have been saying it's us. And Zuko was like, huh. So, this must be a tactic, right? Who do you think it is? Which, basically the boss says, or, Nenjida says, probably Esdef. This seems like she was something she would do. And Zuko, remembers how Esdef looks, and then he goes, probably along with the minister's idea. It doesn't seem that, it seems like a good strategy. Did the public to want to stand saying we're heroes. No one will come to us for assassination jobs. Well, it doesn't matter. Somewhat. So, what else do you want to tell us? She goes, how do you want how do you want this to go? Everyone just, is looking at each other, and then Izuku goes, I said we just go and find these people and kill them. We make sure no people that are going against the minister dies. Because we're going to need their support, right? And she goes, right. I was going to mention that, but he seemed to be picking up on this stuff pretty quickly. So, he goes, I gotcha. Just want to see if I would. Funny. Anyways. So, does anyone agree with me? Go and help these people? Which everyone was like, yeah, we'll show those those false, night raid, assassins what we're really made of. And then she goes, basically the boss says, good, I couldn't agree more, basically. So the people who are going is, Shell's going with Akami and Lubak, and, Leona is going to where Esdef is, as basically it's just Izuku and Bulat. well, technically no. Shell and Mine are staying back because even though Zuko healed them, they're gonna, the boss doesn't want them to go out. So yeah, it's just Akami and Lobak are staying there, and Zuko, are going to where they were going. Mine and Shell are staying back, and Zuko and Bulat are going to where they were. So basically, they go onto that ship, and everything's going the same, besides, everything. Zuko couldn't bring a sword, but he always has one on him, so doesn't really matter to him. Basically, he's just saying he'll scout around to Bulat, the open areas, while he just, stays. He goes, right, I will. Stays outside, basically. As everything then goes to canon. So, when the flute's being played, basically Leviathan says, Zuko, use the strings. And he goes, huh? What do you mean? Just do it! As he basically uses them, as well, all of a sudden, his ears are being covered, so he can't hear the flute. He goes, what the? Everyone's falling asleep. He goes like, go outside as quickly as possible. So, and basically Seryu goes like, yes, there are great people here. The ones who may be causing the problems. He's like, shit. So Zuko runs out, as basically Deodora comes out. And he goes, huh? I didn't know someone had been awake. It seems like you're not affected by the flute. Interesting. And basically Zuko gets in a fighting stance. He goes like, who are you? He goes, it doesn't matter. As then he throws Zuko a sword, he basically catches it. He was like, huh? Why did you? He was like, I don't want to kill someone without a weapon. I want to get a lot of XP from this. He goes, which Zuko just says, XP? Do you think this is a video game? He goes, what's a video game? He was like, what the hell? Don't say XP if you don't know what a video game is, idiots. As he pulls out a sword, he was like, I'm just gonna end this real quickly. He goes, yeah, right. As Zuko just basically just runs forward, shocking him on how fast he is, as when basically Deodora is about to slam down, Zuko sidesteps, moves out of the way, and swings. But Deodora also moves his axe because it's double edge to Zuko. But he basically is able to move out of the way, even by jumping back. But he also nicks Deodora's face. And he goes, not bad. Nice reflexes. And he goes, thanks. So, let's do this. Let's kick it up a notch, shall we? He basically says, let's do this and kick it up a notch. So basically, Deodora turns his axe into double blades that he can throw. Basically, it's Imperial Arms, the double axe of whatever. Basically, he's allowed to remove the blades and change it into something else. Not change it into something else. And make it into basically dual blades that he's able to throw. And so, Izuku, when he basically throws it, Izuku just basically catches the blade, which he's shocked by, and immediately just throws it right back a lot faster than Deodora could throw, and it does chop off his left arm. And he goes like, ah! As Izuku then just, has the blade pointed to his side, and slices off his head efficiently. As Bulat says, not bad, Izuku, not bad. Should have realized it from you. Your battle awareness and your danger sense is pretty good. It's like, thanks. It was easy to tell though from him. Just wasn't really a challenge. I could defeat him even without catching that blade of his, but I wanted to end this quickly because as he looks over towards his side, saying, we got company. So, Bulat nods and activates Incursio, I think. Hold on. Okay, yeah, as he says Incursio, then his armor basically appears on, and he goes, I didn't expect to see you again, Captain you know, liver, liver. Yeah, let me just double check that now. Yeah, I had to like look up the names, so it just says Liver, so liver or liver. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying just liver. It's weird, but anyways. So Hazy goes, yes, Bulot, I didn't expect to see you again. So basically, Zuko says, I'll take care of this kid. Basically, which is Nairu. Hold on. It's basically Nyau, so Naya. Yeah. And he's like, huh, a kid. Don't, think that too much. Or, he'll basically, as Izuku just, blitzes towards him, he's like, which he thinks too fast. As he's able to block Izuku's strike, he goes, huh, impressive. Let's see if you can keep up with me, even including my strength. And he goes, don't get too cocky. Rookie assassin! As basically pushes off Izuku's blade from his flute. As well, Bulot and Liver are, fight goes exactly the same. To the point where Izuku actually, basically was kicked and sent flying, which basically Bulot had to send the guy flying because he lost his chance for actual to end the fight. And then the hand-to-hand, the sword-to-sword fight with Liver and Bulot happens like in canon, to the point where he even injects himself. So, all of a sudden, he basically, uses blood to hit Bulot in non-vital areas, but basically, yeah. Suku does send the kid flying over and basically helps Bulot steady himself, and then he tells about Bulot says injection had poison in it, and he goes which whoever says yes. Basically, he goes on to how his devotion to as death is and stuff. Then he says about his death, saying he'll be going ahead, which Izuku basically says shit. Basically, he says shit, and then he goes I know you already said this to me, but you sure you can do this, Leviathan? Can you? He goes, yes, I can, but I'll have to be manifested physically to do it. You'll have to, try to find a way to deal with him. I suspect his Imperial Arms trump card is gonna be way more of a problem. I was alright. So, he basically moves Bulot over, leaning against a wall. He's like, Isuku, take this. Incursio. Use it. But she was like, no, I can't do it, bro. Why? He was like, I don't know if it'll be compatible with me. Besides, Leviathan. As Leviathan all of a sudden starts, basically, Bulot sees water ripples in the ground, and then he comes out as many strings are basically going around Bulot, basically. And he goes, huh? He's like, he's gonna be bringing you inside, into the Shadow Realm to heal you. I don't know what's gonna happen. Which then Leviathan says, he may even go unconscious due to this. Who knows for how long? How effective the poison is. He goes, alright, you understand that, Bulot? It's like, right. But still, try to use Incursio. Shout out with everything in your might. From the depths of your heart. Which Izuku goes, fine. If it doesn't work, I'll just use it as a weapon, okay? He goes, right. I'll see you later then. As he gets pulled into the Shadow Realm. As basically goes, Cerberus, is there any chance it'll work? He goes, which he says, I don't know, but try it. As the guy says, please, if you don't have any benefit, any resonance with it, it'll just kill you. And what the hell was that brought that assassin into water? Seriously, how was it safe for wood? Tell me now and I'll spare your life, maybe. He goes, not a chance. as Izuku holds out his arm, and then he basically closes his eyes, and basically he's just trying to bring out any emotion he has, but well, he has like a lot. Like he says, burn out all the emotion, basically. So Izuku has a lot of emotions he held in because of his coming to this world. That emotion risen, and he does express it, but a lot of it he can't hold in. And then he goes, Incursio! As basically all of a sudden, like, Izuku doesn't know, but Bulat is seeing Izuku. He sees Incursio basically come out of the ground, and then, chain are wrapped around, and basically, all of a sudden, like, he also sees the gates of hell open. Like, we're summoned and open, even chains are coming out of them. As he's going like, it seems like he'll surpass me. But who knows if it'll be today or tomorrow. But I already know he surpassed me a long time ago. Basically, Bulad's basically coughing blood, and dying. So I'm kind of adding that, and also he's in kind of like water to shower him, as basically Leviathan says, take it easy. Don't think or talk too much. It's right. Thank you, Leviathan. Yes. Any friend of Izuku is a friend of mine. I'll do everything I can. Yes, right. So basically, Incursio basically's mask breaks and the dragon beast is, shown. Basically, the one that basically adapts to anything, but since it's basically, Izuku already has 2 Imperial arms, a part of him, it's a massive change from we know in canon. The Incursio's armor is still the same, but it has the look of, like, heads on its, like, shoulder, even like in the chest, like there's like basically a head of Cerberus. It looks like even serpents are going from like on the arms onto the armor of the armor, basically. As it is just different, so very different. As the guy goes like, "What the armor? It changed and it seems to bonded with you." As Zuko then hears the beast, the dragon beast, Incursio, inside of it. He goes like, this is interesting. You already had 2. Beasts are stronger than me. And through your emotions, your will, I bonded. For now. I trust in you. Izuku Midoriya. Then basically, Cerberus says, Incursio, it's been a while. But she goes, no way. Cerberus. Then makes it more interesting. So, Izuku goes, this power. It's amazing. I have to be careful. I don't want to destroy this whole entire ship. As the guy says, it doesn't even matter if you have it. It doesn't matter if it looks different. I will kill you. I'll rip you to shreds. And then I'll kill Bulat. Die, you assassin. As basically he just runs forward as Zuko because the armor increases the person's strength, speed, and everything else. Along with him already have inhuman strength, plus the armor, the human strength, speed, and everything, plus then Leviathan, what he did to him. So, in that sense, Izuku just gone from sight and sends a mean right hook to the guy's face, sends him flying all the way over into the basically the ship's wall. But meanwhile, before this even happened, the fight, we didn't go over to Esdev and Leona. Leona would have left, and Esdev, was just getting ice cream. And all this time, while she was there, she knows Dora was gone, and she was like, seriously, who was that green-haired kid? The green-haired guy. He basically doesn't even know who I was. They didn't acknowledge me. It's like, he just looked at me like I was nothing. Ah! But he... Now I'm looking back at it. I wasn't bugging because of the mission. I focused only on it. But for some reason, even though I want to find romance, he keeps on popping into my head. They say she, does, basically have a taste of the ice cream and says it's good. But then she says, but he was sort of cute. Basically. And now we go back over to the scene where basically Izuku armor disappears and such. And Cursio's sword is in his hand. And Leviathan comes up with Bulat as, well, he goes, Leviathan, how is he? He goes, he's fine, but he will go unconscious in a couple of hours. The poison took a lot out of him, along with the fight. I'm surprised he will be able to stay conscious for this long. And Bulat says, Zuko, that was amazing. I did not expect you to be that incredible. Seems Incursio bonded to you. He goes, it turns out Incursio and Cerberus are old acquaintances. And he respected, or should I say, liked my will and the emotions I used. So, it's pretty good. It's pretty good to use something like this. But the power, I think it's too dangerous if I held it. I probably could destroy more than what I could along with Leviathan and Cerberus. Which, he was, yeah, let's get back to Night Raid. Right. So he picks him up, and he goes, we're gonna go for the shadows. But first, I see basically all this on the strings, come off of his, the gauntlets he just saw real quick. As he gets all the Imperial arms, and he goes, let's go. As they go for the shadows, going back to Night Raid. And so, this is where we're going to leave it off, everyone, because I have not watched anything after this point. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. So basically, yeah, Bulat is going to be in a coma for a couple of, well, maybe weeks or days. Just know that. Well, actually, a couple of months, really. I know it's over a cliffhanger. Why do I not just have it? But basically, someone asked me for him to get Curcio. Basically, Izuku is gonna get Curcio, as you realize. And well, the thing is, he's not gonna keep it. He's gonna have it until Bulat, is fully awake. There's a reason why I want Bulat to stay around. I have a plan for him. But basically, all you gotta know is he'll have a Curcio until near the end of the anime of Akame got killed. Alright? But I did forget. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We have to go to a scene where they're just basically dead bodies and such, and it's basically how they're saying these people should never help the foreign clan. Blah blah blah. That's what they get because they're all dead. The whole entire town basically, and well, just saying how this girl needs to go back to the capital, which is Kuromi. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you straight up now. The ship, I decided. Well, I was thinking about it while I was making it. That's why there was some mistakes. And I wasn't really focusing much. I was thinking about the ship, and yeah, I'm just gonna say this: Akame, Esdeath, and Kuromi. Why not? Is that a problem with that? That's fine. But also, my favorite. Someone asked me my favorite character of this anime. I did have favorites, but it's just I did more Esdeath, and because she was the one who stayed around the longest. Well, technically it was Akame and the boss and Leona, but it was for me, Esdeath seemed to be way more, well, a good character to like. So I just like the character wise, and it was always interesting to have her on screen and how powerful she was to see. And basically her fight moments were really good. So anyways, that's the reason why I liked her. but it was also then Tatsumi. Basically, those were the two. As-if and Tatsumi. So yeah. But anyways, that's all everyone. Hope you guys have a nice night, day, wherever you are. Bye. I'll watch more Kami Got Kill and make the What If tomorrow. Along with I will make Madara and Madara Deku and Lucifer Deku. I have some other like What Ifs planned to give throughout Christmas week. But I want to finish this series as soon as possible, so I want to, yeah, make more of this. So yeah, bye everyone.